Weird things started happening in our house. Jodi would go into these possessed trances. And she would start speaking in other voices.
She's mine. She's mine. She knows.
And Ruby believed that it was meant to be, and that me and her were meant to help Jodi overcome this.
Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so f***ing tired. Oh my God. Ooh, I'm tired. I'm tired. You know, again, I'm relating this to my religious upbringing. Shout out to my parents, because if this went down, they would absolutely talk to doctors. They would not assume this was from Jesus. It's too weird. Like, they would call somebody, and shout out to the priests in our life who'd be like, this is a little strange. No offense. You're not exactly a saint. You probably have a medical problem going on. Not all religious people really fall for this. Like, genuinely. I think there's something really unique about modern day Christians, Mormons, and all these people where, like, I don't know what's up with you guys, but get it together, okay? Get it together.
Casting the evil spirits out.
Wee.
Exorcising them out.
This is what I'm saying. I grew up with Catholics who believed in exorcism, but if they saw this in their own family members, they would just literally call a doctor. And what's the difference from a religious person that doesn't call a doctor and one who does? Is like they check all their bases. First, we check the doctors, and then we check the church, and then we do maybe it at the same time. But like, you know what I'm saying? What is this? Now, here's the question for us. Is she acting? Is it real mental health psychosis? Or what's happening? I kind of feel like she's acting. I don't think it's mental health psychosis. I think she's putting on an act to make them believe she's the chosen one.
I would place my hands on her head, and then I would command the demons to depart. And then I would state every name of Jesus Christ that I could possibly think of.
How did she react?
She would thrash and hiss and wail and growl.
Did you believe it?
Absolutely.
Like, as if people aren't out here being actors. Like, we could all fake a possession. I'm sure all of us could really put our theater kid hat on and act possessed, right? If you know what you're looking for, you could act it out. That's why scammers and MLMers and all those people are really good at convincing people, right? Because like anyone can be an actor or an actress. But it is amazing what human brains will believe. It's like shadows on the wall. We'll believe our own shadow is like a demon. It's just your own shadow. It's your shadow, Peter. So yeah, fascinated by this, just fascinated. Wow.
But it stayed like that for weeks and weeks. My blessings, my prayers, they did nothing. And then they wanted to just excuse me out of the room.
Oh.
So they could just keep going.
This might be the weirdest way to have an affair. Let's pretend you're possessed by a demon so we can be left alone.
Ruby would start to go up and check on her at night. That's when the possessions, according to Jodi, were the worst.
Where are the kids? Where are the kids in all of this? Are they listening to this? Do they see her go through this?
And then one day, Ruby said, I'm just going to stay up there and stay with her. She needs a friend. And maybe if I'm in there with her, these things will leave her alone. So she started sleeping in the bed with Jodi.
Wow, ladies. Wow, y'all could have just done it different than this. The length they went to have this affair, bro.
I still had men's group week after week after week, but it was different.
You don't understand where the deception is and where your lust is.
Jodi started to call me out in men's groups.
Uh-oh.
I went in not now as the alpha, but very much as, the zeta.
You are acting entitled.
I remember being uncomfortable with how he was basically the bad guy.
We got to the point where we were just listening and not participating. And Sherry had been coming over and borrowing books and things. And this one time she came over and I said, hey, we saw your parents on this class that we take. She's like, I know. And she said, did you know that Jodi is living in my bedroom? And did you know that they are filming some of this stuff from my house and from my room? And I was like, that bothered me so much that we kind of checked out.
Wow, so some of the couples started getting aware of the weirdness and they started to check out of the sessions and stuff. And that's what's so interesting. Gosh, I see a part of me is curious where I want to get into the mind of these people. But then a part of me is like, I don't want any of this bad energy in my life. But that's why I do like documentaries like this, because they go there. They put themselves in these positions to be around these people. And man, it's crazy what the human brain will convince you of. It's really amazing in a horrible way.
You mentioned the Christmas when Jodi was moved in.
Yeah.
I've got something to show you, actually.
I remember it being a very fun Christmas, but that was also the Christmas that my 2 youngest siblings didn't get any gifts.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so cruel. That's so cruel.
The 2 youngest are showing long patterns of selfishness.
Wow, the way we really hold kids more accountable than the adults in the room. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired of all these parents holding their kids to higher standards than they hold themselves. Get off your whatever pedestal you put yourself on. Wow.
And wiping the floorboards would like really bring pain, and it wasn't painful for them because they're so numb. And we told them that this year they are not going to be visited by Santa.
My daughter's the same age as their youngest daughter, and she loves giving gifts to her friends. Ruby answered the door, and my daughter said, "Merry Christmas, can you give this gift?" And she took it, and then she closed the door. My daughter happened to see their youngest, and she was so excited. She was like, "Did you get it? I picked that one just for you." And her face was just drawn, and she was like, "I didn't get it. My mom made me throw it away."
Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa. That's horrible. That's just so horrible. When people say like people don't deserve kids, this is what I mean. You do not deserve these precious little babinos being born into your care for you to take advantage. How horrible.
At this point, I was in college. So when Christmas came, I went home. Like, it was so tangible that just something was off, and I can't describe it, but it was like a physical heaviness. There was one time that I did go into my room to get something, and there were like candles on the desk and massage oils, and it felt really dark. So at that moment, I kind of figured something was going on.
Can you imagine sitting here and telling the whole world it's evil while you're sitting here and thinking you're the best part of it when you're literally the evil walking through the house? Girl, not the daughter, Jodi. I mean, Jodi and Ruby.
Were they lovers?
I mean, I have my opinions, but...
What's your opinion?
I do think that they were.
I don't know the extent to which their interactions went. It was much more than a friendship.
Yes.
What was that? You want to get thrown off?
Yes.
I'll probably get thrown off with them. So you guys.
Much more than a sisterhood.
I feel like it was very emotionally incestuous in a sense. Like, that's not the right word, but intimate. And I almost feel like maybe intimacy didn't go to the traditional route of like sex, but maybe it was worse than that, like sicker than that, like a deep molestation that helped free the demons from her body by the way she touched. You know what I'm saying? Like something more insidious than just sex, something really gross, something that makes sex feel gross, you know, but like to them is like this dark, evil thing they have to do to free her from demons. But, you know, they're not just having an affair and making love. They're engaging in activity that is like, I don't know, covered in this like ickiness of whatever this cult-like behavior is. Which again, I ask the question, is this grounded manipulation, meaning like they're of sane mind and they're just doing it on purpose? Or is it like some psychological issue? Is there like a psychosis? Like, what is this? Why are you doing this to people?
She immediately started putting her fingers into every aspect of our lives.
And our wives.
I think she wanted Ruby to herself.
Definitely. In that really insidious way. This is what I'm saying. It's not just some person who wants you in a relationship way. It's like somebody who wants you like psychologically, like somebody who's like, this is mine. So when she was possessed and she's like, she's mine, I own her, I almost feel like it was her real voice talking about Ruby. Instead, she made it sound like it was Satan's voice saying it about her. Like, oh God, like Satan owns Jodi. Jodi owns Ruby.
Jodi would isolate people from their families.
Basic cult tactics. Number one part of the bite model, isolation from family and friends.
Separation.
Ooh, look how she filters in. Like, let's talk about separation. Ending relationships, moving forward. Ooh, this woman, evil. She is evil, bro. In a philosophical sense, she is super in her evil. This is not a joyful person.
Separation is a principle of truth.
At that time, I started to get some clients who were damaged by the therapy that they were getting from Jodi. It was evil.
It is evil. It's evil in a philosophical sense. Evil as a word can mean spiritually evil. It comes from a religious connotation. But in a philosophical sense, we want to be in symbiosis with our joy. So we want to be grounded, healthy, functional, balanced. We want to be good people. But when we're out of sync with being good people, I think we move into our quote evil. And I think it looks just like Jodi. It looks like Jodi and it looks like Ruby. So the question is, who was more corrupt in a sense? Was Jodi a victim of something and then Ruby was a victim of Jodi, and then her kids were victims of Ruby and Jodi? Which came first? Also, how are they recording all of these sessions? Like, that's what's interesting to me too. They have a camera up on a laptop and we're seeing these sessions. Where do they come from? I'm surprised there's so much documentation of all the horribleness.
She was divorced at that point. I don't know exactly what's happened with her children, but I know that the relationships haven't been great. She was helping her clients become her in many ways.
Damn.
Which, by the way, seems very cultish.
I knew how much I loved Jodi at this point. I knew how much I respected her and loved her. Always felt like I had to confess to Jodi when it came to anything like pornography or making out with a girl. Jodi thought it would be a good idea for me as part of my repentance process to tell my mom. And I have never seen my mom more distraught.
You want to talk about what's destroying men? Convincing them that they're shameful for engaging in masturbation. We have to raise our kids to respect the people we see on screen and to engage in masturbate like a healthy way. At the end of the day, it's also the shame of the fact that he was even kissing girls.
As she was crying, she kind of got surprised because it clicked. Oh my gosh, everything that happened to Jodi, all the possession, all the attacks, all the satanic attacks that were happening to Jodi, it was all because of you and what you were doing behind our back.
Mental health. What? See, mental health? Not all religious people are mentally ill. Like, not all of them are experiencing psychosis. Most of them are literally not. That's why the DSM doesn't qualify religion as like a mental health issue, right? But this gotta be mental health, right?
She wiped away the tears and then she was back to serious. And she said, Chad, it's time you leave the home.
Whoa.
I was 17 at this time.
Wow.
Did it make any sense to you at the time, moving out?
Yeah, I really thought I was messing with the house.
Oh, Habibi. For a 17-year-old, that's what I'm saying. You are holding children more accountable than the adults.
She was intense.
Whoa.
And she just bluntly said, our marriage is in serious jeopardy because of you, Kevin, because of your selfishness, because of your lustful thoughts and behavior that you've been hiding. I'm trying to rise up to the measure that God wants me to be and to do the work He wants for me to do, and you keep holding me and Jodi back.
Oh.
I want you to leave the house.
Whoa. See? How does he think, like, not... Okay, my partner and I are both atheists. We don't believe in a God. And if one of us woke up one day and started saying, hey, like, I think God is calling me, blah, 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 we'd be like, okay, we have to go to a doctor first. The fact that he is seeing all of this happen, his kid getting kicked out, and he doesn't think, hey, you need to go to a doctor, is insane to me. That's the part where I'm like, girl, how are you not thinking, let's talk to a doctor? Now let's see if the next 30 seconds he says we go to a doctor, but I doubt it.
I don't want you to have any contact with me or the children.
Oh my God.
What did you say?
Yeah.
I just said, okay.
Sir, I can't tell if he's weak of character or if he's just been beaten down so bad from Ruby, or if he's been like this his whole life. Whoa. The way, if you try to take my kids away from me, and don't come to me in the comments like, oh, well, men never win custody in divorce court. Men never even try. He didn't even try, girl. He's not even trying. Okay. He full on just walked away. What are we talking about? That's why he wasn't around. I wondered where this man had been. Why were his kids being abused and he didn't see? He didn't even fight for them. He didn't even think for a second, hey, I think my wife is literally going insane. So much for being a good partner. Now that I'm putting all the responsibility on him, ultimately it's on Ruby. But I couldn't even imagine that my partner would let me go so far without ever questioning me or holding me accountable or saying, hey, Britt, what are you doing? Like, why isn't someone saying, hey, Ruby, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? How do this many people get trapped? And this is why we are so flawed as a species. Without even making anyone like pointing blame, this is what I say when I say we give human beings too much credit. We are giving people way too much credit. If this is how easy it is to fall for something like this, we're cooked. But I guess we've been cooked for thousands of years. This is crazy.
I had the kids come in and I sat him down.
This is crazy. From my understanding, the youngest boy is the one who called the police, and the older sister is the one who continues to fight for her siblings. And look, I'm not saying that, you know, everyone's been victimized in their own way and everyone's sort of responsible in their own way, not the kids, but the adults in the room. And I want to be empathetic and compassionate towards him, but I also want to like, hey, you're the dad. You're the other adult in this. I don't understand how you're letting this happen, but it does happen this way. Like, it really does when you're in abusive households. You as the adult become convinced you have no power. Wow, this is gross. This is gross. Ruby and Jodi are just the worst, just so gross.
And I told him, I'm going to go away for a time, and I'm going to work on myself so that I can come back to the family and be the dad that you deserve. The look in her eyes, I cannot. It was a pleading.
What was Ruby doing at the time?
Watching. I remember as I was holding my youngest and just holding her, and she was crying. Ruby was photographing it on her phone, and she had this smirk or this smile on her face that she just, I don't know what she was thinking, but it looked like this look of, oh, this is such good content.
Ugh.
I get a call from Kevin. Your mother has invited me to leave the house, and
See? Yeah, my mom has, I got a call from Kevin. Everyone references they don't call them my mom. I wonder if they do it for the documentary, if that's how they feel. Do they feel so far from their parents? They're like, oh, not my dad, not my mom, Ruby and Kevin.
I'm going to ask that you don't talk to me or to Chad. At that point, I was like, this is absolutely crazy. And I think I responded and said, you know, I'm confused and like, I wish you the best, but like I was worried about the kids now that are at home. And I got a long text from Ruby, full of things just like, you've shown that you don't want to be part of this family and you're causing chaos for everyone, and you're reaching out to your dad when we asked you not to.
Shout out to the older daughters in the family. Shout out to older sisters. Damn.
It's when I got a phone call that basically said, you've been removed from the car insurance, you need to get your own. So I got in the car and drove down. And I remember feeling like really nervous to go over, and I asked Teresa to come with me.
When we drove up to the house, sure enough, Ruby opens the door and steps out onto the porch.
She said something like, Sherry, you're causing a lot of damage to the family, and you know, you've shown you don't want to be part of our family.
Sherry had tears and she was shaking. I had tears streaming down my face. And the only person that had no emotion was Ruby.
Wow.
And she was just stone cold. Only anger and animosity and defense. And I did not know how a mom who gave birth to someone could sit there like that and listen to their daughter weep and beg. It was horrible. And I just wanted to get Sherry out of there after that.
What's Ruby's introspection level? Is she a 1? She's kind of useless to herself and her community. She is pretty, like, she is self-sabotaging and she is horrible to her community. Like, does she have no introspection level? Like, no way to think about what she's done, no way to correct the behavior? But does she believe her rhetoric? Because, like, I think you have to fundamentally believe what you're selling to some extent. Like, she believes what she's saying, I think, to some extent, like Jodi does. But you can still be a 1, right? Like, I wonder, what is her introspection level? Check out the levels links in the description for my levels system, which is still in progress if you don't know. But like, that's what makes me wonder. I don't think she's a 2. She feels like a 1 to me. She could be a 2C. Everybody else feels like a 2B around her. All the other adults feel like 2Bs to me. She doesn't feel like a 2A, funny enough. She doesn't feel like she's there. Like, in that way, I don't think she's interested. I think she believes what she's saying, but I don't think she's certifiably insane. And I think she believes what she's saying, but not in an introspective way that a 2A would be introspective about it. It's like a lower sense of self-awareness.
It was understood that I wasn't to come home anymore or talk to the kids, that I wasn't like part of the family.
Sherry just melted, just fell apart. She was just still shaking, and she was looking through her phone, looking, and she said, this is my mom. She showed me a picture of who she knew her mom to be.
That's what I mean. What do you do when your family member is like going through something like that? God, that's so heartbreaking. Because like, if Ruby is really just genuinely sick, then it's like, do you just need the right medication and you'll be okay again? Or is it worse than that? Is it not a mental illness in that traditional sense? Like, meaning if you got the right pill, you'd be better. Does it not matter what pill I give you? Are you going to continue to be this horrible of a person? That's when it becomes like introspection in a sense. Like she is unable to be self-aware enough to not be self-destructive. And that's like the key difference is like if medical intervention can bring you back to yourself, then you were just sick. But if even you had that medical intervention and you're still this way, then at that point, it's somewhat of your own relationship with self that's causing it. Wow.
And it seems that Ruby had literally come to see evil in everyone around her.
Yeah.
The only people left in that house are those 4 young children.
Wow, those poor babies, huh? Those poor babies trapped in that house with her. Yeah, I have some deep concerns. I wonder because like some of the ones that I've met in my life, they really think like everyone is bad. They're the most self-righteous. They're the only ones who are good. Everyone else is horrible. But they've been to doctors. They've had access. They're educated. And they still won't change. No amount of pill or medical intervention will make these people stop being that person. And I feel like, okay, well, what's left then is introspection, like a relationship with self, facing yourself. They're afraid to face themselves. And I feel like Ruby is afraid to face herself in a sense. Like the version of Ruby that started off vlogging and wanted to be America's mom, I would ask her to deconstruct that. Why do you want to be America's mom? Where does that come from? What does that mean to you? Why does the validation matter? And then I wonder if we could get down to how Ruby became this person. Man, what horrible, just horrible. Okay, with that said, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I'll see you for the next one.